July 13th PZM Essentials webinar. Today we're going to be reviewing map layers within Profit Zone Manager. My name is Dan Bott and I am one of the Precision Business Planning Specialists here at AgSolver. Today during this webinar we're going to go over our introduction, navigate and review the different map layers from the profit map, yield map, break-even yield increase map, break-even commodity price map, break-even expense decrease map, production efficiency map, field boundaries map, and then finally overview map layers, and then we'll follow up with any questions anyone might have. Before we hop into Profit Zone Manager, I do want to mention that we are in Q&A mode today. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box below where you see my contact information. You have my email, djbot@agsolver.com, or you can email your questions to support@agsolver.com. And then you also have my cell phone number, which is 319-238-1978. Now we'll hop into Profit Zone Manager. So here is the Webster field located in north central Iowa, and currently we are looking at a profitability map. What we've done to get to this stage is we uploaded the 2010 yield data and then applied the 2010 corn crop budget to this particular yield data to produce a profitability map of this field. We have our profit legend on the right, and this is an interactive tool. So we can click, and if we hold the shift button down, we can click on columns to add to that. And if we scroll out, you can see that we have the anywhere from 0 to a positive $200 revenue highlighted. And to close out, we can just click out of the map legend over here. But to get to our other map layers, up at the top right hand corner, we have a map button. This is where you can see all of the different map layers that we have within Profit Zone Manager. So right now we're looking at a profitability map. So profit per acre, profit loss per acre. If we click on the yield map, our yield maps are a little bit different. You're going to have to think inversely. So the darker the red, the higher the yield, the wider the white, the lower the yield. So if we click on the 7% of the field that yields 99 bushels per acre, you can see that St. Ridge populates and really sticks out with. And if we click on, say, 37% of the field, that produces right around 200 bushels, and if we hold the shift button, we can select 214, 229, 243. So this is everywhere in the field that we're producing north of 200 bushels per acre. So it's an easy interactive map. Next, we'll look at the return on investment map layer. So the darker the red, the lower the return on investment. And so you can click and see the 13% where we're having a negative 25% return on investment or more. And if we select the return on investment from 0 to negative 25%, we zoom out. We come over here. I'm actually going to bring that down here for right now. If we scroll down to our financial performance table, you can see acreage opportunity ratio. So acreage opportunity ratio is percentage of the field that is operating against an expected negative return. It doesn't mean that 48% of this field was unprofitable. It means that 48% of this field was operating against an expected 0% investment. So And within the map layer here, that's what I have selected. So everywhere from break even to profit loss. So this is representing our 48% of the field. After our return on investment map layer, I really like these next three map layers. So this one right here is our break-even yield increase. So on that sandy ridge, we're going to need to increase production by at least, I would say, 97 to 138 bushels just to bring on production. So a lot of times, increased yield may not be enough just to break even on this poor performing parts of the field. And on this area in the field in particular, it's a sandy ridge. So there's not a whole lot you can do. If we go to our next map layer, say we can't produce our way out of the situation, well, maybe we should just wait around until we have higher commodity prices or when we have the next market rally. But if you look at our legend over here, you can see that a majority of this sandy ridge, we actually need $9 corn to break even. Not too promising in these market conditions. Even when we had strong commodity prices in 2012 and 2013, corn really never did $9 in this part of the state. So if you can't produce your way out of a situation, and if you can't market your way out of a situation, that really leaves one alternative, and that brings us to our break even expense decrease map. So on that sandy ridge, we need to decrease expenses by, at most $533 an acre. If we select some of these other zones, so we'll select 533, 480, 426, and 373. We zoom out. You can see that, even if we take off at least $373 an acre, that really pulls a lot of our working capital off on this acreage of the field. So what this is showing is maybe we need to do something else in soy production. Maybe we need to look at an alternative crop. Could be small grains, could be CRP, or maybe we just pay our cash rent or pay our land cost and don't put any crop there to free up working capital so we can reinvest it into the other highly profitable areas of the field. So that's the expense decrease map. And the areas that you see in gray is where we're producing a profit on this field. After our break-even expense decrease map, we have our production efficiency map. And this map shows how efficient are you with your working capital. So as producers, we always think in the yield per acre, bushels produced per acre. Well, here we want to see how efficient we are with our working capital. And so to raise the higher quality financial bushels, where if we select 9% of the field that's producing 305 bushels, we have another 36% of the field that's producing 285 bushels per $1,000 spent. If we zoom out, these are the areas in your field where you really want to maximize production and intensify. Mainly what we do currently on every acre of every field. Select 326 and also 346. So that's the production efficiency map. And you can see the average production efficiency in our bar chart over here at 242 bushels per $1,000 spent. And on the flip side, you have the poor quality financial bushels, where you're raising only 141 to 162 bushels per $1,000 spent in the field, which really highlights the no-cost zones within the field. Next, we have our field boundaries map layer, just representing the field boundary that we've either uploaded or drawn into Profit Zone Manager to represent as our field boundary. And then finally, we have a soils overview map layer. And for this, I'll actually go ahead and turn our return on investment map layer on. So you can see the sandy soil type where that sandy ridge falls into. You can pull that off. I also want to point out one other thing. So if you see where my crosshairs are on the map, we can actually pinpoint to that particular spot in the field and determine, all right, how many bushels of corn we produce in that exact spot, our profit per acre or profit loss per acre, which in this case we're producing 20 bushels per acre. We had a profit loss of $625 per acre. Return on investment was negative 89%, and our production efficiency was 28.5 bushels per $1,000 spent. So we can also export all of these map layers out. So if we wanted to create a variable rate seeding or planting prescription in SMS, SST, any data reading software, we can do that by simply coming over to our options drop-down menu. Right next to our scenario name, we have an export button under our drop-down menu tab. Click that, and all of these files are compressing. So you can either save this on a flash drive or save it on your desktop on your computer. I would like to thank everyone for joining our July 13th reviewing map layers within Profit Zone Manager. I also want to mention that this webinar is being recorded and will be posted onto YouTube after it is completed on our AgSolver YouTube. And at 11 o'clock, we have our intermediate planning webinar, which we will be reviewing the economic payback from foliar feeding soybeans. So what we'll be doing there is looking at a couple fields where we didn't apply a foliar feed last year on some of our ground, and then we'll be looking at a field where we did apply a foliar feed and then make that decision and create that scenario based off of 2016 input prices and 2016 commodity prices. So I would like to invite everyone for our webinar at 11 o'clock. And I want to thank everyone for joining today. So see you at 11.